Welcome, everybody. I'm Jay, and we're here Thursday. Subscriber feedback. You send audio, I listen, and we try to help you out as best we can. Today we got John. It's a wonderful sort of noir-esque audiobook section looking for tips on character, pacing, how it's all coming across. We got your back, John. And if you would like me to review audio just like this of yours, there's a form in the description. It's free. Send me something. Right now, there's a bit of a waiting list. If you'd like to jump the waiting list, move to the top of the queue or close to, you can check out the booth buddies down below to support these efforts, and you get priority access to feedback like this, as well as you can submit multiple times. So if that's of interest, check it out. And there's also coaching over on my website if you don't want to do the whole YouTube thing, which I get. Aside from that, everybody, hey, John, thanks for being here. Let's take a listen and see what we can see.
My name is Marcus Cole. I'm 27 years old, and this is not where I'm supposed to be. The door swings open, letting in a gust of November air and two men in their 40s. They've got that look. Government jobs, state workers, guys who drink domestic beer and tip exactly 20%, no more, no less. They settle onto stools right in front of me, and I slap down two napkins. What can I get you? 2 Bud Lights, the first one says. He's got a friendly face. His buddy is quieter, already checking his phone. I pop the caps and set them down. Running a tab? Yeah, thanks. But the friendly one doesn't turn to his buddy. He keeps looking at me. Slow night? Picks up around 10 when the hospital shift changes. He nods, taking a pull from his beer. You from around here? Wyoming originally. What brought you out? I hesitate. I wanted to be a cop. Wanted to be? Past tense?
Yeah, really, really nice. Things that I love that you're doing already. Characters sound super distinct, different. The pacing generally is pretty solid, in my opinion. And boy, howdy, you got a voice and great vocal tone for this type of work, specifically, in my humble opinion. Definitely a niche that I think you've found your way into in many respects. So yeah, great on all that stuff. My biggest note for this section, and I guess generally, is right now, it's a little hard for me as the listener, or I think we can do more to help me as the listener understand what matters here and why certain things are important, how I should feel about certain things. Because the way it's coming across right now from the main character's perspective, this is a first-person narration, and the main character sounds really ambivalent, meaning I don't know what he thinks about a lot of stuff, and it seems as though, or at least in the way that a lot of things are coming across to me, that he doesn't really care one way or the other about a lot of stuff. And that may be who this character is, but I think that there are stronger options that will be much more engaging for me as the listener and help me understand the book and this character a little bit more. So let's stop and we'll go through again. I'll stop and start, and I'll just get more incisive about some of the specific things that I'm talking about with respect to that specifically.
My name is Marcus Cole. I'm 27 years old, and this is not where I'm supposed to be.
So even with that, when the character's saying their name, introducing themselves to us, the listener, or their audience for the first time, we can get a fair amount of information from how they say their name. And right now, it's coming across as like, my name is Marcus Cole. Like, I don't really know, man. I'm just kind of hanging out, and I'm just here. And then when it moves on to,
I'm 27 years old, and this is not where I'm supposed to be.
This is not where I'm supposed to be. I can't really tell if he's like, man, I got off the bus at the wrong stop. Well, shucks. Or if it's like, my life went sideways 2 years back. My wife is dead. Which, that sort of backstory happens sometimes with books like this. You could pick anything, but it's hard for me to know because the character is coming across as so ambivalent. And this is not where I'm supposed to be. It's a little bit of a trope at this point for, a lot of media. The meme of, yep, that's me. And you're probably wondering how I got into this situation, that whole meme. And in this one with, this is not where I'm supposed to be, We know from this section that this character wanted to be a cop, but ended up a bartender in the middle of nowhere. Or I assume it's the middle of nowhere. And this is not where I'm supposed to be. I was supposed to be where? And we can infuse that with the guy's past hopes, dreams, disappointment in themselves with their own life, the trajectory of things. I don't know if any of these are right, but this little phrase is an opportunity for us as the listener and you as the narrator to, or for any of us as narrators, to help us out with a bunch of that information. How do I feel about this being where I ended up? How do I feel about where I should have been and the fact that I'm not there, but I'm here? And all of those things you can really bake into that stuff. And that's kind of the essence of what I mean by I'd love to hear less ambivalence from the character in this. Let's keep going.
The door swings open, letting in a gust of November air and two men in their 40s.
So that too, letting in a gust of November air and two men in their 40s. Letting in a gust of November air, does that factor into where he's ended up at this point? A gust of November air. Man, I've been here for 3 Novembers, and I hate the winter. This guy seems like a little bit of a curmudgeon. But if he's not a curmudgeon, then give us clues of that. Maybe he loves November. Letting in a gust of November air. The smell of beer in this rundown joint is, cleaner now and all that jazz. So how does he feel about the gust of November air? How does that factor into where this town is? Is it cold? Is it blisteringly cold? Does snow blow in? Is it a, Alabama November where it's letting in a gust of that? Doesn't sound like it, but like humidity coming in, whatever. And then the two men in their
40s.
2 men in their 40s. I have no idea how we feel about those guys, but then he goes on to evaluate them pretty intensely in the way that a cop might. And so in the way that he's evaluated, well, let's listen to that.
They've got that look. Government jobs, state workers, guys who drink domestic beer and tip exactly 20%, no more, no less.
The fact that he's sort of, at this point, using his cop skills or the skills that he wanted to use when he was a cop, was going to be a cop. The detective work that's laid dormant because he's now just a bartender. They've got that look. They've got these particular suits, the ones that I mean. And they only drink domestic beer because of why? Why do I have this judgment on them? The fact that they tip a very exact amount. And this section, admittedly, I do feel like you're giving a little bit more of an opinion, but it's still unclear enough to me that I really want to hear more about that. Let's keep going.
They settle onto stools right in front of me, and I slap down 2 napkins. What can I get you?
This is one section that I think could be paced down a little bit. They settle onto 2 stools in front of me, and I
slap down 2 napkins.
And I slap down 2 napkins. This sort of moment, you can, the way that I usually like to handle this and the way that I coach people often to try to handle this as an option that helps with both pacing and the storytelling elements of it, is if we break this up into discrete shots. Meaning, if this were a movie, what would the shots look like in your mind's eye? So as you're playing the movie in your mind of this scene, how is that broken up into images? And so if we listen to that little bit again.
They settle onto stools right in front of me, and I slap down 2 napkins.
They settle onto stools right in front of me, and then I slap down 2 napkins. Those are 2 distinct actions that right now are getting smashed together into one phrasing, which is creating for me, the listener, just a little bit of confusion's the wrong word, but because they're 2 different images that are getting smashed together, I'm then forced to put in the work as the audience to pull those apart and be like, oh, these are 2 distinct actions that are happening. So to go back to the movie thing, they settle onto 2 stools in front of me, and I slap down 2 napkins. So we've got what they're doing, then what I'm doing. And those 2 shots could be, two different moments. They settle onto stools, showing them coming up to the bar, facing the bar. They settle onto two stools in front of me, and then cut to like behind their shoulders or something, and it's me behind the bar, and I toss down two napkins in front of them. And then we move right into this dialogue right after the fact.
They settle onto stools right in front of me, and I slap down two napkins. What can I get you?
The way that we're gliding into that dialogue is, I think we could do with a little bit more space there. Reason being, in books like this, or just books in general, when you're shifting from narration to dialogue, there are a couple of things that I talk about often with respect to that. One, the narration stuff is narrative moments where it's not two characters talking to each other, are me, the character in this case, talking to the listener very specifically. They settle onto two stools in front of me, and I slap down two napkins. And then we have to shift into the real space where I'm the guy behind the bar talking to two people in front of the bar. What can I get you? So I have to shift my level of projection ever so slightly, because if I'm talking to just you, the listener, here's the scene. They settle on two stools in front of me, and I slap down two napkins. Now I shift to the person in the scene. I'm behind the bar. What can I get you? Now they're a couple feet away. Maybe there's music playing. Who knows? But right now, the change that I'm encouraging is right now it's just sort of blending or bleeding into the other. They settle down on two stools in front of me, and I throw down two napkins. What can I get you? So it's a little difficult for me, or it could be improved, I guess. And then just to touch on that point again, right now, the way he's asking, what can I get you?
What can I get you?
It's like, Jesus, if a bartender, even if the bartender's fed up with life, as we sort of are led to believe this person may be, if a bartender said, what can I get you in this way to me?
What can I get you?
I might just be like, Jesus, what happened to you, man? I'm sorry. So that's me being a little bit nitpicky on the delivery of that line. But anyway.
Two Bud Lights, the first one says. He's got a friendly face. His buddy is quieter, already checking his phone.
So these two, back to like the cop mode. He's got a friendly face, you know? How do we feel about that? And the fact here, this is kind of another point. Man, we're coming up with a lot of stuff. He's got a friendly face. We've had these evaluative moments already where these guys come in, they let in the November air, they sit at the counter in front of me, and he's got a friendly face. The fact that he has a friendly face, we have a couple options there. One, as the narrator, because we know how the thing's going to unfold, do we infuse the earlier bits with the fact that this guy has a potentially friendly face, or is this a moment of discovery? He's got a friendly face. I didn't expect that from all these other facts. Or do these other facts lead into more supporting evidence that, maybe they're not so bad? He's got a friendly face. Splitting hairs yet again, but let's keep going for just a little bit longer.
His buddy is quieter, already checking his phone.
And his buddy is quieter, already checking his phone. How do we feel about that yet again?
I pop the caps and set them down. Running a tab?
Again, the gliding from narration right into dialogue. I pop the caps and set them down. Running a tab? It's at the same sort of level, and you can do that either intonation-wise. I pop the caps and set them down, or I pop the caps and set them down. Running a tab? Or I pop the caps and set them down. Running a tab. I don't know. But that shift of gears, narrator talking to the listener, and then running a tab, out in space, talking to the two dudes at the other end of the bar. That's all we got time for. Man, we came up with a lot, John. I hope that was helpful for you, mate. Really great work. I got super in the weeds there because I was able to. It's always a fun thing when you can really dig into something. So great work. Great work. And with those adjustments, I think that it'll just send you over the top. For everybody else, I hope this was helpful for you too. And until the next one of these, be well, and I'll see you there. Toodles.